Hello, I'm David Hughes. Welcome to Your Perfect Body, the podcast of the Esoteric Teaching Community. Today's selection is an essay entitled The Mystery of the Bhagavad-gita. Many times in the Bhagavad-gita, Krishna is addressed as Hrishikesh. Why? According to the esoteric teaching, bhakti is defined as follows. Sarvopadi vinirmuktam tat paratvena nirmalam Hrishikena Hrishikesha sevanam bhaktir uchite. Bhakti, or devotional service, means engaging all our senses in the service of the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Master of all the senses. When the spirit soul renders service unto the Supreme, there are two side effects. One is freed from all material designations, and one's senses are purified simply by being employed in the service of the Lord. This nice verse, quoted from the Narada Pancharatra, is found in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.1.12. Freed from all material designations here means that we no longer identify with the material body. Normally, we think that we are a man, a woman, from this country or that country, old or young, rich or poor, wise or foolish, and so forth. But these are all material designations. When we are engaged in the transcendental activities of Bhakti Yoga, we think, I am a spirit soul, an eternal servant of Krishna. This is freedom from material designation, and it is the beginning of the higher spiritual dimensions of our ontology. As we increase the spiritual dimensions of our ontology, we become more spiritually conscious. In material consciousness, we cannot understand what God is or what we are. Then, as we enter the path of the esoteric teaching, we can begin to understand that we are not this body, we are a spirit soul, and realize God as the impersonal spiritual effulgence of Brahman. Then, when we become a little advanced, we realize God as supersoul within the heart, and begin to have a direct personal relationship with Him as Paramatma. Finally, in the highest stage, we realize the personal form of Krishna as Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and also realize our perfect spiritual body in eternal relationship with Him in the spiritual world. Purification of the senses means that we no longer have a taste for polluted material things. We no longer crave meat, fish, eggs, onions, garlic, and other food in the mode of ignorance. We no longer relish lust, anger, envy, and hate, but we develop a taste for purity, simplicity, spiritual service, and love. This is the purifying effect of bhakti. Bhakti, and indeed the whole program of the esoteric teaching, is therefore simply Hrishikena Hrishikesha Sevanam, engaging the senses in the service of Krishna, Hrishikesh, the master of the senses and the indwelling supersoul. As a devotee, Arjuna was meant for serving Krishna, because he is a bhakta, or practitioner of bhakti yoga. Krishna addresses him as bhakta. Sa evayam maya tedya yoga prokta puratanaha bhakto sime sakha sheti rahasyam hyetad uttamam. That very ancient science of the relationship with the Supreme is today told by me to you, because you are my devotee as well as my friend, and therefore you can understand the transcendental mystery of this science. Bhagavad-gita 4.3. Bhaktosi me, my dear Arjuna, my devotee, shaka cheti. And certainly, my friend, rahasyam hyetad uttamam. Therefore, you can understand the transcendental mystery of this science of Bhagavad-gita. It is a mystery. A mystery means something very secret, arcane, recondite. No ordinary man can understand. Only initiates can understand. Therefore, it is called a mystery, rahasyam. And not just an ordinary rahasyam. Rahasyam uttamam. Uttamam means transcendental, ultimate, not covered with the darkness of material nescience. Bhagavad-gita is a brilliant transcendental mystery, rahasyam uttamam. The ordinary person cannot understand the mystery of Bhagavad-gita. Therefore, they foolishly misinterpret, speculate, and simply demonstrate their foolishness. Even big academic scholars cannot understand Bhagavad-gita or this esoteric teaching properly. They cannot understand because they are not devotees, and this mystery is meant for the devotee, bhaktosime. This Bhagavad-gita and this whole esoteric teaching are a transcendental transactions between God and his devotee. That is the secret. Just like if you go to the market and see two businessmen talking. You don't even have to eavesdrop to know the subject they are discussing. They are businessmen, so naturally they must be talking about business. It is a natural conclusion that whenever two businessmen are seen talking seriously, they must be talking about business, investment, and profit. Similarly, whenever there is talk between the Supreme Lord, Krishna, and his devotee, the subject must be bhakti. It can't be anything else. The devotees and the Lord derive ever-increasing transcendental pleasure from talks about bhakti, devotional service activities. But only pious people can understand these transcendental discussions. Yesham tvantagatam papam jananam punyakarmanam te dvandva moha nirmukta bhajante mam dridhavrataha. Persons who have acted piously in previous lives and in this life, and whose sinful reactions are completely eradicated, are freed from the dualities of delusion, and they engage themselves in my service with determination. Bhagavad-gita 7:28. Punyanam, pious men can understand, but people addicted to impious life cannot inquire about God or understand talks about God. Papis, sinful men, cannot understand. They misunderstand, thinking that I am also God. This is the conclusion of the abhaktas, the non-devotees, the sinful men. So you should know that anyone who declares himself to be God is the greatest sinful man. And if you study his private life, you will see that he is a very sinful man, according to the standards of Bhagavad-gita. This is the test. Without being sinful, without being demoniac, no one will dare to say that I am God. No pious man will do it. A pious man thinks, who am I? I am an ordinary human being. How can I claim to take the position of God? Only a sinful fool will claim to be God. But they become very famous among foolish, sinful people. Sva vid varahostra karahai, samstuta purusha pashuhu, nayat karna pato peto, jatu nama gadagrajaha. Men who are like dogs, hogs, camels, and asses praise those men who never listen to the transcendental pastimes of Lord Sri Krishna, the deliverer from evils. Srimad Bhagavatam 2:3-19. In this world we see there are many so-called great men, and they are very much praised by the general people. But the Bhagavatam, the esoteric teaching, says that anyone who is not a devotee, who never chants a Vishnu mantra, He may be a very great man in the estimation of fools, but actually he is nothing but an animal. Purusha Pashuhu. Svavid Varaha Ustrakarahai. Dogs, hogs, camels, and asses. Now, this is the quality of the general population in the age